If you're planning to attend a convention, let's go over some mistakes you can avoid to make your convention experience enjoyable and as stress-free as possible. So if you've seen my other video on convention survival tips, this is kind of a complement to that. I was actually going to combine the two at first, but then I realized that both lists were pretty extensive, so I thought I'd separate the two. So for this video, we're going to go over some mistakes to avoid prior to you attending the convention, at the actual convention, and some solutions. So prior to attending the convention, here are some mistakes to avoid. First mistake would be waiting until the last minute to buy your tickets. You run the risk of your days selling out, especially if you're only able to attend, say, a weekend day. Usually those tend to sell out the fastest. And also, ticket prices tend to go up the closer you get to the convention. My advice would be to set up an alert on your phone of when tickets go on sale. If you're gonna go with an intimate group of friends and family, have everyone else's contact information. That way you can buy tickets all at once. Some registration sites have a queue line that could, occupy you for 2 to 3 hours to register. Some examples of this are San Diego Comic-Con, D23, which is the Disney fan convention, and you usually are in a queue line that leads to the waiting room, which leads to the actual buying page. So it's one of those where if you know for sure you want to go and there's a group of people wanting to go with you, definitely get everyone's contact info, and then you can just buy the tickets and not worry about people being left out. Number 2 is waiting to book a hotel until after you've purchased your tickets. I recommend booking like a backup hotel just in case. Like if you think, say 9 months out, I think I might want to go to this convention, but I'm not really sure. Just book a hotel anyway, and then that way when the convention releases the hotel room block of where to stay for special rates, then you already have something just in case, and then you can book a hotel that might have a special deal with the convention. And then you can always cancel your backup room. But it just never hurts to book early, and that way you have a guaranteed place to stay. So number 3 would be to not research the area where you'll be staying. Definitely familiarize yourself, know where the airports are, know what the closest airport is, really. I mean, that's helpful. The last thing you want to do is land at an airport like an hour and a half away when you could have found one, say, 30 minutes away. And you might also end up in an area where you don't feel safe in walking around at night. So the solution for that, definitely do your research, go on some forums, ask some previous convention goers, join some Facebook communities, ask around, see if anyone, knows any places they can recommend on where to stay. Next would be to overpack your luggage. I mean, you're going to a convention. You're going to come back with more stuff. So unless you plan on shipping everything home that you bought at the convention, definitely save room in your luggage for things you plan on buying. So the next one would be not planning in advance prior to convention day. Now, I'm definitely not a super planner type of person, and I'm sure there are other people who are like that as well. But for some conventions, especially depending on the priorities you have, meet and greets, panels, you have to plan ahead of time. So for that, I recommend checking this convention schedule and also following on social media. That way you can get some notifications on what is going to be happening at the convention so you can plan accordingly. And for the last mistake, I would say prior to the convention is making your costume at the very last minute. This can be very tricky because you might be thinking, 4 weeks ahead of time is more than enough, but then you find yourself at the hotel the night before hand sewing, or you brought a sewing machine, one of those tiny ones, and then you find yourself hemming stuff. The solution for that is to plan ahead. Start early. The earlier the better. If it's just a costume for one, then I would say 3 months ahead of time is good. 3 months, basically by that time you should have already shopped the materials. And then now you're starting to do like the cutting and the sewing, just putting stuff together, and then the fitting. So then basically a month before your convention, your costume would be done. Ideally, of course. If you're doing a costume that requires armor, I would say 6 months, because you want to make a little leeway in case, you want to have some leeway in case there's parts that got ruined as you're crafting, or if you are using a 3D printer, if, for example, that the printer froze while printing a part and then you basically wasted a day or two trying to print something and turns out you don't have the supplies anymore for it. So yeah, for anything that requires armor, I would say 6 months. But if it's just regular clothing that you're just sewing, 3 months. If you're sewing for other people, even more time. So don't do the 3-month rule. The last thing you want to be doing is sewing multiple costumes along with yours. So definitely give yourself ample time to sew. At the actual convention, the first thing I would recommend you try to avoid doing is grabbing all the freebies inside. Conventions can be pretty overwhelming, and there's a lot of free merchandise they're giving. You could get like t-shirts, you could get little figures that are exclusive. And I get it, if it's your first time going to a convention, you want to commemorate it. So definitely grab some stuff, go ahead. For family and friends, they might want some stuff, go ahead. Just be mindful. You may not need every single thing. One way I kind of look at it is it practical, and will I be using it within a month? If it's something really useful for you, or it's really sentimental, then definitely grab it. But don't just grab everything inside just because you can, because then you have to bring it home. So there is that. The second thing I would say is not drinking enough water. Convention time goes very quickly. You kind of lose track of time. You definitely should stay hydrated. Bring a bottle of water. You can buy at the convention too. So definitely try to stay hydrated. The next one would be waiting until you're hangry to eat. Definitely don't do that. I kind of give some ideas on my other video about this, on how to plan when it comes to eating your meal. Just make a plan, whether you want to eat early or late. The last mistake you want to avoid is wearing uncomfortable shoes. It doesn't matter if you're cosplaying or if you're dressed festive for the theme of the convention. You don't want to be wearing shoes that are going to hurt your feet. To kind of give an example, I would say 20 years ago or so, I wore Geta sandals at a convention, and it was great for about 2 hours. After that, not so much. So you want to wear comfortable shoes, whether it's sneakers, whether it's orthotic shoes with arch support, whatever makes your feet super comfortable. And if you're cosplaying, you can always make shoe covers. There's no wrong in that. And or buy some comfy shoes that kind of resemble who your character is, but also can serve as a multi-purpose that are comfortable to wear in your everyday life. So I hope you liked the video, hope you found the information useful, and I will see you next time.